Aloha! Welcome to the Trust Your Gut Club. My name is Tara. This is Live Yoga Channel, where we love to come together and share with, we call this our virtual Sangha, to share in like-minded wellness. And so on Wednesdays at 1 p.m., we meet live for the Trust Your Gut Club, where you're more than welcome to join in and write some questions that you have about digestive wellness or maybe some sensations that you're experiencing. And then together we'll investigate, what is the body communicating? How might we make some shifts in our consumption patterns so that we can alleviate the body? Because those of us here in the Trust Your Gut Club, we totally believe and understand that food is our medicine, and that we can utilize food and hydration and listening to our trust in our guts, our own intuition. The body knows. So this is what I'm here to share with you. So thanks for joining in. If you're just joining in, go ahead and let me know that you're here. Write a question. Today, what I'd love to chat about, just to bring up some topics, I've been hearing a handful of clients, potential clients, for some reason, I'm hearing a lot that, I'm addicted to ice cream, or, I did the low carb thing for a while and then my ice cream addiction came back, or, I've got this ice cream sandwich habit that I just can't kick. And what I find endearing is that people are honest about it. And I believe that in our honesty, there's strength. There's strength in acknowledging, like, look, this habit that maybe started out during COVID or during the holidays, that can quickly grow out of control. Let's turn to some understandings of how come, what might be going on with us that we think that we're needing our ice cream fix. And is there anything else that we can do to shift that response in our body so that we can have something a little bit more fulfilling or truly satiating for our body, mind, and spirit? All right. So let's talk about it. Okay. So, an example, wake up from a nap and it seems like, I need something to eat. I better, I've got to go grab something. And maybe the chips or the ice cream container is like the quickest thing to grab. Well, how many times have we done it thinking that we're going to feel better? And then afterwards, maybe the high or the feel good is short lived, but then we feel bloated and got to go take a nap because we're having a sugar crash, or we're feeling guilty and because we ate more than we thought that we would. So what I'd love for you to do next time that you have, an experience where there's an overwhelming sensation of like, I really need this, check in and ask yourself, like, is this a craving? Am I craving ice cream, or am I truly hungry? And do I need some nutrients? Do I need minerals? Do I need real food? So that's the first check-in, and a friend of mine recently reminded me these three questions, very valuable. What am I feeling? What am I needing? And what am I wanting? So especially in front of a moment where we're maybe feeling hangry and like out of control, and we're just going to go grab that, pint of ice cream because we want it. Pausing and asking, like, what am I feeling? What am I needing? And what am I wanting? It creates self-connection, so ask yourself, okay, I'm feeling maybe a little bit overwhelmed. I took a nap because I was trying to get through, the stress caused from work, for example. I'm needing a break. I'm needing some relief, and I'm wanting to check out. I'm wanting to numb, and going for that ice cream, gives me that, and it's not illegal, and I'm not going to have a hangover. So, that's one way to guide ourselves through it. And then go ahead and take yourself through those questions again. Okay, so, I'm being more honest with myself. Okay, let me ask again. What am I feeling? Well, really, I am. I'm feeling overwhelmed. What am I needing? I'm needing some relief. I'm needing some spaciousness, and I'm wanting a hug, And so what I want to share with you here is that often, emotional fixes for food, and many of us turn to emotional outlets, whether that's like a bag of chips, some ice cream, an alcoholic beverage, whatever it is for you. Oftentimes these reaches for emotional satiety, it has to do with touch and texture, and really, if we're operating from a place from old pains, oftentimes a hug could really work for us. Something to self-soothe that's actually going to improve our mental state and the clarity in how we perceive ourselves in the world. So understanding and going through those 3 questions a second time can really tune us in to like, oh, there I go again. I'm choosing the emotional, food release or emotional stress release through food, when really I'm wanting some touch. And, my loved one's at work, or the dog is on a walk with the kid, or whatever it might be. Say that we're still feeling alone, that's when we can practice giving ourselves a hug, really just practicing unconditional love to ourselves, and acknowledging that, maybe our inner child is present with us and could use some loving kindness. And if this sounds a little too woo-woo for you, I totally get it. And I invite you to give it a try. Give yourself that pause, cultivate that pause before the next time you go for that. I'm calling it ice cream, but choose whatever it is for you. I've just been hearing a lot about ice cream addictions lately. So I'm bringing that to the club today. What might we do to support our bodies when we're feeling controlled by our habits? Perhaps our habits become addictions, which then can become compulsive. That can feel a little bit out of control. So one, to bring ourselves back into control would be to self-check-in and ask ourselves those 3 questions. What am I feeling? What am I needing? What am I wanting? And it may take a couple rounds of going through those questions to get to it. But I bet that after the second time through those 3 questions, you're going to feel a little more connected to what's truly going on, and then can choose from the mature adult space of how to best take care of ourselves. All right. So we're going to cycle through those 3 questions. What am I feeling? What am I needing? And what am I wanting? And then one more thing I'd love to empower you with. It's the 8-3-8 breath. 8-3, yes, that's what it's called. Forgive me. And what this is, it's a powerful anchor. And so say that we go through those questions, and after it, we're still not convinced to go choose something else for ourselves, like a glass of water with some electrolytes, or a nourishing full meal, or a nap, or ask for a hug, asking for what we really want. Well, say we decide, I'm still going to go through. I'm going to open up that bag of chips, or I'm going to go for that pint of ice cream. Well, what I'm asking is that you utilize the anchor, the 8-3-8 breath. And what this does is it brings more calm and connection. So let's go ahead and do it together. We've gone through the questions, still like, oh, I want that ice cream. Okay, well, I'm going to use the 8-3-8 breath. So inhale for a count of 8. Pause and hold it for 3. And then exhale slowly for 8. See how you feel just after one time. So my request is that you take this and you do it once. And so then if you choose to go eat the bag of chips or the pint of ice cream, so be it. You've anchored yourself before. And how this anchor works is time and time again, the more you do this before you do the act that you'd like to get rid of, it helps us connect to center. And more that we anchor, what it's going to do is connect us to our innermost self. And eventually we're going to choose differently. And that habit is going to kick to the curb like it was before. It had our brain by the, in control. So let's, invite the 838 breath in before we go and do that act that we'd like to let go of, and just commit to that piece, trusting and applying it, knowing that eventually it's going to fall away. We're going to choose differently. Okay. And why I love to share this with folks is because, many of us have been on a sugar fast, or like, oh, I've tried to cut sugar from my life and it worked for a while, but then once it came back with a vengeance. Oh, I cut out bread or grains, or I tried keto, it worked for a little bit. And then once I, went out to dinner with my friends, it all, I fell off the wagon and I haven't been able to go back. So what I'd like to share is that has a lot to do with the bacteria, and so much. We talk about the microbiome, the friendly flora, the good bacteria, the bad bacteria, whatever it is. What I'd like to acknowledge is that this human body is an aquarium. It's a unique aquarium to you based on where you grew up, how much stress you have, how much sleep you get, what's been your diet over time, how long you've lived near or far away from the equator, how your cycles are in tune with nature, what's your circadian rhythm like, what's your sleep like, what's your stress like. So all of these things impact our cells, our microbiome, and all of the life force within us. So oftentimes these cravings are more or less the bad bacteria, for lack of a better term, wanting to be fed. And they want to be fed sugar or refined carbs, or, that's how they get their fix. So it can control, perhaps you've heard of the gut-brain connection, but our thoughts. And so that we wake up from that nap thinking, oh yeah, I really want that ice cream. That's what my body's needing. Actually, that's the bacteria taking, cuts to the front of the line, and then, making the mind think that that's what we're wanting and needing. So again, this is why we do the proper check-in with the three questions, as well as, anchoring the 838 breath. And then what I'd love to empower you with is a set of options, so rather than the ice cream, can you have something else, that's maybe less impactful? There's lots of different keto ice creams out there. There's a way people are making their own at-home ice cream with heavy whipping cream and stevia. And then there's something else altogether. Like oftentimes if we think the body's wanting sweet, we're really needing minerals and vitamins. So could be good to actually, let's go savory. Let's have some bone broth. When in doubt, drink some bone broth and see if all those vitamins and minerals don't satiate you. See if you really are craving that ice cream about 10 minutes after a nice cup of bone broth. I'll go ahead and leave my favorite bone broth recipe at the end of this video here, because, now that it's cooler, even here in Hawaii, it is bone broth season, and getting in the daily cup of bone broth elixir helps to soothe and relieve the entire digestive tract from esophagus to anus. And what happens is the mucosal linings from stress, as well as, funky foods and sprays and pesticides, as well as a lot of the medications that maybe we've taken throughout our lives, that impacts the integrity of our gut linings. And when it's thin and frail, what happens is it becomes more permeable. So then what happens, this gut lining that's supposed to be strong and keep the bad out from our bloodstream, and take that through for our body to release toxins. When we have a permeable gut lining, then some of those things leak out into our bloodstream, which causes havoc to our entire inflammatory response. Our immune system gets kicked into high gear. We've got food particles floating around in the bloodstream. Can't understand why we're feeling brain fog and off. But the integrity of that gut lining could be at stake here. So there's not one person that I don't promote bone broth for healing this gut lining, based on just how much foods are sprayed these days with pesticides, and what that has as an impact on our guts, and then what the function is of our gut lining, and how we're supposed to take nutrients from what we eat and serve it as fuel for the body. So bone broth healing for everybody. Bring it back into your daily habits. If you can't do it daily, at least 5 times a week. I now make my own, but before I was able to make my own, or wanted to, I was buying from others in my local town that were making it. And then there's a few brands that I very much promote. Kettle and Fire is one that I find at Whole Foods. And then there's also another one called Osso Bone Broth, Osso Bones, OSSO. And they're a company out of, I believe, San Francisco, but they're on the mainland, and they do shipping, and they're really good at the sourcing and ethical guidelines for animal care. And that's really, really important to me. So, all right, if you're just joining in, or you've been here a while, and I've been chatting about all things bacteria and taking care of our guts and taking care of our microbiome, so that the bacteria that live within us are giving us feedback for our best selves, so that when we're hungry, it's true hunger, and it's not like chasing cravings all day, every couple hours, because our bacteria are in need of a hit, kind of thing. Can you wrap your head around that? Is it really us? Well, I mean, all of this is us. But is it our true self that is asking for fuel? Or is it, and one way to check ourselves is to see what we might be craving, and see if it's that, that food that, usually leaves us feeling other than the best ever. And if that sensation is far off for you, I'd love for you to take some investigative glasses tonight when you eat dinner, and just take a look at how your body responds. And if you're feeling a quick buzz, a quick high from a piece of bread or some pasta, versus true satiety. What does satiety or satiation feel like in your body? Where it's oh, that was a good meal. I feel energized and strong and ready to tackle my next project. All right, Trust Your Gut members, I'm so happy to be here with you. This is our new time on Wednesdays at 1. I look forward to growing with you. Please, by all means, if you haven't thought of a question yet and you want to get in touch with me in between, our meetups, go ahead and send me a message at aloha@themetabolictherapist.com. I'm happy to answer all your questions. And let's gather again here next week, same time, right here on Live Yoga channel. Tune on in for the Trust Your Gut Club, so that we can talk story around creating vital human health and self-care for our bodies for years and decades to come. So thanks again. Have a beautiful day. Cyber Ohana, I'm so happy that you are here with me today. Have a hui ho, which means until we talk again, aloha.